Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Happy Saturday, happy weekend. Welcome back to the Welcome to Asgard podcast, as this is episode 224 of the Welcome to Asgard podcast, because yes, indeed, this is uploaded to Anchor.fm after every single show. And so I want to give a shout out to, first off, Toph Morris, who is a $5 backer over on Anchor.fm. Thank you very much, Toph Morris, for continuing to support the podcast. And if you listen to this as a podcast, please be sure to leave a rating on all major podcasting platforms. Tonight, we'll be talking about Gina Carano, as I have been able to see the interview with her that she has had with Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire, and that will be going live to everyone tomorrow, I believe via YouTube, via major podcasting platforms as well. It's the Sunday special, the Ben Shapiro Sunday special. So if you are looking forward to hearing that interview in full, to get the full context and to get her own words, you'll have that tomorrow. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the key things that I noticed from that interview. I talked about those a bit in the videos that the video I made for the channel today. Also, we'll be talking about Mortal Kombat trailer, because we had a Mortal Kombat trailer and it was pretty tight. Now, I know a lot of people have complained about possible, with race swapping, things like that, but as someone who has just stayed out of all that stuff and just watched the trailer and has very minimal knowledge of the history of the characters, I thought it was quite entertaining. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And of course, our general overall movie discussion as well. But let's go ahead and start off with the D-Live fam. What is going on, D-Live fam? Let's see, we got Pioneer 12 over there. What is going on, Pioneer 12? As he puts the Steve Austin beer emoji, or rather a GIF. That looks fantastic. Thank you very much for being over there, Pioneer 12. All right, heading over now to my YouTube fam. What's going on, YouTube fam? I do know that there is a major stream going on right now with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, Drunk 3PO, and Star Wars Theory. Of course, they stream during my time slot, of course. It wouldn't be Jeremy Drunk 3PO if they weren't streaming against me. I love how they'll stream early. They'll stream early on nights that I'm streaming, but when I ask, hey, can you move those game streams up just a little bit? Maybe just an hour up on Sunday, they can't do it. Failing to realize that I guarantee you that there are a plethora of people who watch those gaming streams, who have jobs, who have day jobs, have to get up early to take care of their kids, bring their kids to school, or even just go to work, who would very much like to still watch those streams and take part in those streams, but because they start streaming at 10 p.m. Eastern, they aren't able to. That's right. I'm going to throw some shade. I'm going to throw some public shade right now, because I want a game. I want to play some Among Us. I want to play some Mario Kart. I want to play some Mario Kart. But every time I ask, they say, oh, no, it's all right, set in stone. Move it up an hour. Add an hour of extra time to the play. Anyway, that's enough salt for me this evening. Much love to the chat. What's going on? Orange Chat Reviews. He says, I am second. Also, Odin got an Odyssey account being synced right now. Says it will take a week. Yikes. Yeah, it does take a while, but once it is up there, it is nice. The videos transfer over, usually within, I think, max 10 minutes. Sometimes it's a lot quicker than that. Sometimes it's just, a minute or two. But it can take up to about 10 minutes sometimes for a video that's uploaded to YouTube to transfer over. If you upload it directly to Odyssey, and you're not uploading to YouTube at all, it takes about the same amount of time that a YouTube video takes to both upload and to process. So yeah, it happens. Let's see. Slicer Neon's in the chat. What's going on, Slicer Neons? JRoar123. Lord Toth, who's a member, says, good evening, everyone. Great to see you. Good evening, Lord Toth. Glad to have you back. Golden Ration says, hail Odin, hail all, hail to you, Golden Ration. Glad to have you back in the chat. Tina B says, fade in. Something, smash the like button on the way in. Fade in. If you want Odin to see your comments, put Odin question. Indeed, put Odin question. All one word, Odin question. Will highlight orange on my screen, and it'll let me know you're trying to get my attention. And don't worry, Heimdall is being turned on as we speak, so please don't freak out about it in the chat. He is being turned on as we speak, and it's okay. It's okay if Heimdall's not on the entire time. All right, we got here Father Christopher Miller. Hail to you, Father. Hail to you, Father. He says, popping in to say hi, might be able to catch the end of the stream tonight. We have a speaker at Mass tonight. Well, hopefully it's a speaker of a good organization, good platform, and not that CRS nonsense. Andrew Hoyle, what's going on? Andrew Hoyle says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you, Andrew Hoyle. Thank you very much for being a member on the channel, as always. I saw Stephanie B was in the chat. What's going on, Stephanie B? I got both my Valks. I got the Empress of the Universe, Tina, and the Captain, the General of my Valkyries, Stephanie B. Glad to have everyone here. Laura To says, hope everyone is safe and sound and doing great. I hope the same thing. As Father says, fade out. Lord of the Rings Junkie, hail to you. Yes, my email has always been the same. It's odinsmovieblog@gmail.com. It's pretty simple stuff. Though if you're going to send me stuff, keep in mind that, especially if it's going to be a long one, because sometimes I get people who send me long emails, long messages, and it's like, I barely have time for myself, so I can't promise or guarantee any kind of response that's not just a okay or hey thanks, because that's typically just how it goes. Let's see, 70B does say hello chat. The snow in Texas has finally melted. Very glad to hear that. My prayers have of course been with the people down in Texas and all the other states that have been impacted by the recent winter storms. I know that there's going to be some more snow happening this week, and so thoughts and prayers to everyone dealing with those snowstorms. Also, Jose Vivas just subscribed to the channel. Imani also subscribed to the channel. Job Dahan also subscribed to the channel. And Stainless Steel Rat. Thank y'all very much for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate it. As Michael Skewwiff, what's going on? Michael Skewwiff, thank you very much for the super chat. Says, have you ever heard of Dr. Peter David Beaterov? No, I have not. That's a very confusing name to me, Michael Skewwiff. All right. Thirsty the Warrior says, don't spoil too much of the Shapiro Carano interview for us. Well, I mean, a lot of it's already been leaked, and I feel like when it comes to an interview, do you really need to have a spoiler warning for an interview? I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to say that there aren't any... When I say there aren't any major revelations, I mean, she doesn't go out and say Rian Johnson is terrible. She doesn't go out of her way to say, anything like that. She doesn't really call out any names necessarily. As I mentioned in my video today, she actually gives praise in a certain way to Pedro Pascal. She says that she thinks Pedro Pascal is a beautiful soul. They disagree on things, but that she still appreciates who he is as a person. I don't know if he would ever say that to her publicly, because I just think that's the kind of person he is based on my perception. But obviously she knows him a lot better than I do or any of us do. So I'm just going to have to take her word for it. But other than that, really aren't a whole lot of things going on there. Kathleen Kennedy's 50-year-old fanboy in the chat. What's going on? Thank you for the $5 super sticker. And it's someone saying, hello, hello, hello. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. Bottom the Hobbit says, you're the man. No, Bottom the Hobbit, you're the man. And that's the problem. Name that movie. Super Anime Gamer says, hey, what is up, my dude? What's going on, Super? Robert, what's going on, good sir? Hail to you. Rhaegar Targaryen also in the chat. Hail to you. Nathan Slay also back in the chat. Bon Hamid says, your thoughts on the Justice League Snyder Cut will be released in a weird aspect ratio. Yeah, so the recent trailer, which in my opinion was not good. I know a lot of people have praised it, but I'm sorry if for any reason you're just going to sit back and ignore that terrible use of CGI. It's a giant mess. You can't see anything that's happening on screen. Everything is just a digital noise mess. And then you add on top of that the aspect ratio. And from what I was talking about this with John Flickinger on our podcast on Patreon, and he says that based on what he's seen and read, that's going to be the way it's presented. And essentially the mindset is, oh, it's being done in that aspect ratio because some of the shots were shot with IMAX. And so this is something that obviously Christopher Nolan has done a lot of, but Christopher Nolan never makes his movies look like that. He always understands that the traditional aspect ratio is what most of the film looks like. And then when you do have those IMAX sequences, what happens? The black bars disappear and it fills the entire screen. That, I think, is the right way to do it. But now instead what he's going to do is this weird, it almost looks like a 4:3 aspect ratio. You add on top of that the really shoddy effects that are just way too like they're just too much. Snyder, once again, is so obsessed with CGI that it just destroys the entire film. It destroys the entire film. Any narrative that he could possibly construe together, which are normally not very well done in the first place, is just totally destroyed. by the messy CGI that he uses. You know, a lot of people like to say, oh, but if you take a still frame of it, that looks great. That looks like out of a comic page. Yes. But once it starts moving, you realize, ooh, this should have stayed in the comic page. I mean, come on. Let's take off the rose-tinted glasses for a second, please, and be honest with ourselves. Jeremy's butt crack. Jeremy's butt crack, thank you for the 2 Canadian pesos. Says, cancel Marina Sirtis. Yeah. It's funny because last night Gary was saying Marina Citrus. And I could see some people correcting him in the chat as well. And I kept trying to, pop in. But obviously, those streams, you can usually get pretty crowded. And so I was like, well, it's by the time I could actually speak, I was like, it's too far past the time for me to make that joke. But it's always funny. 70B says, I have an announcement. February 27th is our Tina's birthday. It's a special day. So next Saturday, we're going to celebrate. Yeah, boy. Absolutely. Absolutely. So make sure you bring your champagne. Bring your classy beverage. For me, I'll bring, of course, my go-to drink of water. And whatever special beverage or any special meal you want to make to celebrate the great Empress of the Universe, Tina's birthday, next Saturday, the 27th. The last weekend in the weekend of February. Speaking of February, tomorrow on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be having our Chosen of Valhalla live stream. So you get 2 shows this weekend. So you get tonight's show, of course, and next day, and tomorrow, you will also get the Chosen of Valhalla live stream. Again, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We tend to go for about 3 to 4 hours, depending. And it's always a lot of fun. And I'll always say this much, because I've been seeing what's been going on in our, we have a Discord chat just for the Chosen. And if you are a Zack Snyder fan, you might want to skip it. Because there's going to be some roasting going on. Some of our Chosen have been watching some Zack Snyder movies, and they've got some thoughts. And I cannot wait to have that discussion. Let's see. General Wingster Tag says, Odin, I'm extremely disappointed Mario and Sonic aren't in Mortal Kombat. I'm still hoping that Spider-Man will make a guest appearance. General Wingster, yes. So that's, of course, this whole story going around. There's been the complaints, and I didn't understand it either completely because, I've played Mortal Kombat. I've seen the original film, but I would not call myself a Mortal Kombat expert. But I just thought it was hilarious because you have these major articles and magazines or whatever, major sites that all covered this story, and the complaint was, why isn't Chun-Li in the movie? Well, it turns out Chun-Li is a Street Fighter character, therefore there's no reason for her to be in the Mortal Kombat movie, and all of them, of course, had egg on their face. And to me, I think if there were any major outlets that covered it, any outlets especially that call themselves entertainment or news outlets, if they cover that story, they should never be visited again. I think that anyone who's covered the story, we should know as a fact at this point now. We know as a fact they don't do the research. They don't know what they're talking about, and so therefore they should not be read. So, whoever has been covering that story probably should not be read, is what I would say about that. Pat S., who's a member, says, fade in. Yeah, damn right. Waiting for Nerdrotic Laura, what's going on? Says, Ben Shapiro's interview with Gina was hard to watch because you can see that she is hurting. What a genuinely lovely person. Yeah, so I also have my subscription to the Daily Wire as well, and I was able to listen to it. So, I saw some of it. I watched some of it as video, but luckily what's cool with the Daily Wire app is that you can either watch it or listen to it as audio, which means you can turn your screen off and just listen to it almost like a podcast, which is really cool. But since I was just listening to it, I had the same experience that you had, but it was with her voice. And I could just hear the pain. And it's one of those things where you see all the people on social media, you see all the people in these various chats, right, just making fun of her or attacking her still, demonizing her, literally lying about her, right? We had a troll who's there every single week on Friday Night Tights, bringing up blatant lies about her. And that was definitely tough to get through. That was very tough to respond to. But you have all this stuff going on. And if you actually just listen to her, and this is where, again, I think the only thing we can try and do for anyone, if you know anyone who has this certain view or perspective of Gina Carano, what I would say is when that interview drops tomorrow, send them that video and say, I want you to look and to listen to what she has to say. I want you to turn off all of your CNN, MSNBC nonsense. I want you to turn off all your mainstream nonsense. I want you to turn off Twitter. I want you to turn off all that social media garbage. And I want you just to be you watching that video, unedited, unaltered, all that stuff. And I want you to actually look and to listen at what she has to say and how she says it. And if you can come out of that interview thinking the same way that you came before, hey, thank you for trying, but at this point, I don't think there's much hope for you. At this point, there needs to be a major life change before we can have any discussion. But if you do that, I honestly think that most people, if they were to actually do that, would come out of it with a much greater appreciation for her and maybe a different perspective on the entire situation. I think it's very important. But yeah, it was a great interview. And again, for anyone that does not have the Daily Wire, it will be available for free on YouTube and on all like major podcasting platforms. Like I know that I used to follow the Ben Shapiro podcast on Pocket Cast at one point. So you can access it through these platforms too for free. Let's see, Hyperin X13 says, Brother Odin, how are you? Hope all is well with the fam. Thank you very much. Everything is going very well. Let's see, Kia Kill 16, welcome to the channel. James Dashier, what is going on? Glad to have you here. Matthew Highland is in the chat as well. Just another red shirt in the chat. What's going on? Soul, the unfrozen assassin. Ooh, the Ice Age is over. The Ice Age is over, Soul Assassin. Is that true? Nathan Slay says, I don't know why Disney would fire someone as nice as Gina. She seems to be one of the most good-hearted people ever. I don't even know if I'm as nice as her. I really respect her. I'm nowhere near as nice as she is. And this is something I said in the video I did on the channel earlier. She is a role model. She is literally the definition of a role model. She's in Hollywood. She was a successful MMA fighter, right? She has all of these amazing qualities. She is the very definition of what a role model is because she's humble. And one only needs to actually listen to her, to actually see her and listen to her speak, and you will know that. And the fact that Disney got rid of her, the fact that Disney fired her from this show, right, got rid of her, canceled her, is so disheartening because it tells you that Disney does not actually care about having good, moral role models in their team. They obviously don't care about that. Because let's just be honest here, she was the best thing that they have had in a long time. I can't think of a lot of people that have worked for Disney that have had a public image in this way who have been as good as or better a role model than Gina Carano. And I know a lot of people, it's so frustrating. You see people who are like, you're just simping for her, man. You're just simping for her. Simping for what? I'm a married man. If she were to ever reach out and talk to me, that'd be awesome because she seems like a genuinely good person. But I'm not doing this for any reason other than it's just true. It's a fact. And again, just actually listen to her. And you hear the pain. You see and hear the humility. And it's just, she's real. And I think that's something that they can't handle. They can't handle the fact that she's real because everyone, I think, is just so used to personalities. They're so used to this era that we live in today where all actors have to be larger than life, where all actors have to be these tabloid images, right? They have to have all this drama going on behind the scenes. They have to be really honest, despicable people that we love to hate. We love to talk about. We love to talk about with redemption stories, right? They fall all the way down because we push them all the way down just for them to come back up again and they get pushed down. Again, it's this sick cycle. And because she does not fit that narrative, because she does not fit this weird fantasy that so many people have, she does not fit this bad guy, bad girl persona. It's sick. It really honestly is sick to see the people responding in this way because she is fantastic. But yeah, absolutely agree. Nathan Slay, she's better than I am because she has such a larger platform, and the fact that she's had such a higher platform, such a higher profile, and is still maintaining that sense of humility is worthy of emulation. Is worthy of support. Anyway, Rhaegar Targaryen, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, but, quote, we live in a society, Odin, end quote. He said The Thing. James Dachier then said, thank you very much, Regular Aaron. And James Dachier for the $2 super chat says, would you say Avatar is the most rated film? The most rated film? I don't know if it's the most rated film. If you mean one of the most overrated movies, then yes, I think so. But it's interesting because when that film first came out, it had a lot more supporters. As time has gone on, it's lost a lot of its support. And I know I'm not the only one that's been critical of the movie since it first came out. I know that I'm not alone in that, but I'm definitely, the crowd is growing. The crowd is growing every single day, I feel, for people who are better understanding just how overrated it actually is. All right, chat has jumped on me like it always does. If you're over on YouTube, please be sure to smash the like button, please. It does help a lot. We got 61 people watching. Thank y'all very much. Really do appreciate y'all being here. I know there's some other streams going on tonight. I really do appreciate it. Heading back over to my D-Lab fam. We got Camden Heiss. What's going on, Camden Heiss? How are you doing? How are you doing? Daniel Thorne, what is going on? Glad to have you here. And we got Phonemo. Says it's been a while. Been a while, Phonemo. Glad to have you back in the chat over on D-Live. Hail to the D-Live fam. All right, back over to the YouTube fam. What's going on? Let me see where I left off. Looks like some comments may have been skipped, but not many. It's 7:05 in the chat. It's 7:20 in real life. I'm 15 minutes behind. Matthew Highland says, your beard is looking more red today. I love it. I don't know if it's more red. I did put some beard oil in it earlier, which is something I don't do, really. I remember when I got a haircut recently, beard cut more accurately, the woman there put some beard oil in it, and I didn't ask for it. I guess it was just a part of the package. And when she was, I was like, I don't put oil in because I tend to touch my beard, and I just the concept of an oil being in my beard, it's like I don't want my hands to get greasy every time I touch it, right? Or if I have clothing on, for it to get over it. And then she explained a little bit about what kind of oils are good, so I decided to get one from the store today to try it out, and yeah. I'll let y'all know. I've only used it once, and so far I haven't had any major, grease stuff going on, but there was a couple of moments where I was like, I don't know. I feel like there's still something there, but it's not like greasy in the same way. So, but I don't know if it's about being more red. I don't know if it would be more red, but could be. Thank you for being here. Rosie G12, hail to you, Rosie G12. Thanks for being here. Slicer Neon says, I hope the folly of Darlene Kennedy the Unwise makes Oscar views and ratings tank even harder. Here's the thing. Everything's down this year. Everything's down, right? Even the Super Bowl is down. You would think the Super Bowl, one of the biggest ways that we can escape, right? One of the biggest avenues and revenues of escapism, even that one dropped tremendously, right? A lot of it was because of politics. Some of it was because of COVID, right? All these other things going on. There's tons of reasons why. But the thing with the Oscars is, one, the Oscars have been going woke and more woke every single year for the past several years, especially. It's really revved up the last 5 to 10 years. Really revved up, even though it's been going on for longer than that. But we've seen a huge push. Right? We've seen a huge shift in the last 5 to 10 years, especially. So not only do you have that going on, and that has consistently pushed more and more people away, you now have a year where so many films were not able to come out, right? So you have a much more limited number of films, which means the film stock is just not going to be as good. And yeah, they're not going to be able to get enough eyes. They're not going to be able to get enough eyes. And Lord knows it's going to be a complete and utter woke fest. There's probably going to be continuing on in this obsession with Orange Man Bad. You know what's going to happen. And so that's why we will have our Raven Awards. We will have our Wednesday Raven Awards. I'm still trying to figure out when is the best time to try and compile some nominations. But don't worry, it is on my to-do list. We will have it, and I can tell you that the awards will be at the same time as the Oscars because I like to have that as our fun boycott, doing our own award show instead. It's a lot of fun. Alice McCarthy, what's going on? He's a member. He says, so I'm guessing you'll never be on Drunk's gaming channel at 2 a.m. No, I won't. See, here's the thing, right? If I didn't have a day job, if I wasn't teaching, so this is why over the summer I have some more options here. But even if that wasn't the case, my wife goes to bed early, right? Because my son, especially now with my son, right? He gets up at 7, and so my wife already has a difficult time sleeping, and so she's going to want to make sure that she's able to get the most amount of sleep possible, right? The most amount of sleep possible. And so the best way that I can help her with that is to not go in late when she's asleep and wake her up, because she's a light sleeper. So yeah, it's always interesting because the big joke, of course, is that, oh, it's Odin's bedtime. It's actually not true at all. Like, typically when I leave streams, I'm not going to bed. I'm either, one, going to spend time with the wife because I think that's important, or two, I'm getting off so that I can, make sure I can get ready for bed so that I don't have to, go in too late and disturb my wife as she's trying to sleep. So, but over the summer, there's a better chance for that because I could theoretically be like, okay, I'm just going to sleep downstairs in the guest room, and that way I don't have to worry about it. But even then, it's got to be planned, because if my wife doesn't know I'm doing that, then she wakes up, freaks out if I'm not there. I mean, again, I try and be the best hubby that I can. Jeremy's butt crack, who is a member back on the channel. Hail to you, Jeremy's butt crack. Let's see. Joseph Nash, what's going on? Glad to have you back in the chat. Glad to see you here. Nathan Slade tagging says, so you thought Dennis Hopper was cringy in Speed? I thought he was so good at being the villain that I hated him in the movie and wished to see him die. That's a compliment for a villain. So I guess it's because I've just never liked Dennis Hopper in anything. Whether it's in Mario, like he was in the Mario Brothers film, he was terrible in that. He was in Waterworld. He gives the same performance. He gives the same just cheesy, over-the-top performance, and it just rubs me the wrong way. So again, if you subjectively enjoy it, hey, more power to you. I'm just saying subjectively, it bothers the hell out of me. Yeah, I couldn't point out like any objective flaws with his acting style necessarily, right? But I just think that it's just so over the top. It's too much. Rosie G12 is a member, says, Gina Carano makes a great point. We can disagree civilly and still be friends. I long for those days. Exactly. And it's sad because, she says this about Pedro Pascal. But as I said earlier, I don't think he would be willing to say the same thing in public, because he knows the cancel culture mob would be after him, right? They love him today, but if he came out tomorrow and said, I support Gina Carano, I disagree with her, but I support her, he would be canceled. Even though they're already loving him and putting him as his profile picture, right? And saying, slay, queen, slay, right? He is their spirit animal. It's always amazing because anytime there is a member of the Hollywood elite or anyone else, and if they are someone that embraces the far left ideology, they become a hero. They become a hero to that group, and so they essentially become like a god to them, and it's kind of creepy. But if just one of them were to stand up and say, no, I'm not gonna fully embrace this anymore. I'm gonna start to question things. Again, they would lose their minds and they would cancel. And they would turn on him really quick. Really quick. He could be canceled too. It's all about whether you have right think or wrong think. Super Anime Gamer says, I'm good, thanks, eating pizza. It's pizza night for Super. Had some cheese pizza last night. It was very good. Fat Elvis in the chat. Hail to you, Fat Elvis. CW Trixie, what is going on? CW Trixie. Glad to have you back in the chat as always. He then says, Snyder Cut on VHS when? Oh, man. It might as well come out on VHS, but at this point, with VHS, it would need to be on like several VHS tapes because it's supposed to be, a 4-hour cut with a 10-minute intermission, and it's not going to be cut up into different like episodes. It's going to be one thing. And here, let me just be honest again. If I've never made this clear enough, I hope the film comes out as soon as possible so that we can watch it and get over it. Like, watch it and move on. And then guess what's going to happen? The same people who loved Batman v Superman are going to love this movie, most of them. And the same people that hated both VVS and Justice League are going to hate this movie. That's honestly what I think. I don't think a lot of minds are going to be changed here. I really don't. Because Zack Snyder has such a consistent style. Love it or hate it, he has a very consistent style. Right? And so it drives me crazy. I don't like it. He has his fans. But it's not going to change anyone's view. I just want it to be over so we can just stop hearing about... Again, I'm happy that the fans won. I'm happy that this is what the fans wanted and this is what the fans are getting. That is great. I support that. No problem. I support that. But yeah, it just Drives me crazy, man. Drives me crazy. Edward Coleman. That's a name I haven't seen in a long time. Edward Coleman, what's going on, man? Thank you for the $20 super chat. Says, just some diaper money. Sorry for your treatment by YouTube. Keep up the political discussions. We need more voices, not less. Stay strong and God bless. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, diaper money is always good to have. It's always good to have extras with. Yeah, for those that are not following the saga over on the OMB report, so I have a political channel that's dedicated strictly to news and politics. And I try and get at least one episode every 2 to 3 days, and they tend to be longer forms, like 30-minute episodes or so, talking about a myriad of topics. Essentially, YouTube has deleted now 4 videos. YouTube has deleted 4 of the videos for, again, nonsensical BS reasons, claiming misinformation, even though I use NewsGuard certified sources for every single one and just give my honest assessment based on the information that I was given. And so they took those 4 videos down, and I have a community guideline warning. So it's not a strike yet, but basically this is their, hey, we've given you a warning, and this will be on your channel forever, because next time you do this, next time you break our rules or whatever, it'll be a strike. So at first I thought it was a strike because it was really popping up every time I went into the studio, and it says community guideline strikes, but then it just said there was a warning there. But yeah, and here's the thing. They're going back into my older videos. Like, these are videos that have been out for weeks, if not months. And they're going back retroactively and removing them, and now, of course, giving me these things. So it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all if I have a strike or two soon. And if that happens, it means I can't upload. It means that I can't even post on the community tab. Obviously, I don't live stream on that channel really, so I wouldn't be able to do that either for like up to a week or so. Which is why I've been trying to push everyone on that channel to go check me out over on Odyssey, and I would do the same here. I would say the same thing here, right? I have not had any of those issues with the OMB Reviews channel, right? I have not had any issues there, but obviously we all know it could happen at any time, right? They could go back to any one of my videos and say, ooh, you said something bad here, and they could retroactively give me a strike. It's happened on several channels, right? Several Phantom Menace channels this has happened to at some point. So it could totally happen. It could totally happen, because you all know that I tend to keep things as light as I can. I tend to keep things, as independent as I can, right? Obviously, there's certain issues that I have a lot to say about, but you all know also that I have a lot of ideas and opinions and thoughts that it would be considered wrongthink by today's standards. I held this sign up last night, and this alone could get me thrown off the platform just by having that biological fact up on the screen. So it's one of those things where it could happen. It could happen to me. It could happen to anyone. And it's happening over on the OMB report right now. So yes, Edward Coleman, thank you for the support, man. I appreciate it. I'm loving doing that channel, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to talk about those things, to go into more deeper dives with it. And I feel like I've kind of chilled out a bit over there, because I used to try and like speak as fast as I could, my normal videos, right? I just try to speak as fast as I possibly can, trying to get as much information as I can. And lately I've just been like, nah, man, I'm just going to treat it more like a radio show and just, talk and, talk chill, that kind of thing. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. James, thank you for the $1 donation via Streamlabs. I appreciate it, man. He says, have you seen Sincere of the Lambs? And if you have, do you consider it a classic? I'm pretty sure that meant Silence of the Lambs. Yes, I have. Yes, it's a classic. I would consider that a classic, a modern classic, because that's still technically within the modern era. So yeah, modern classic. And I would say that it's a great film. I've only seen it once, so I don't have a mental image of the entire movie in my head, but I have at least seen it once. But it's good. Rhaegar Targaryen, thank you for the $5 super chats. Thank you, Rhaegar. Says, YouTube be like, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Exactly, Rhaegar. That's exactly what they're doing. And it doesn't make any sense. It don't make no sense. Because you would think that YouTube would understand that the way that YouTube stays relevant, the way that YouTube has life and keeps that life, is by having a diversity of opinions. Because if you just have pure diversity, but they all have the same opinion, it's not real diversity. There's these studies that they always try and talk about and cite. They say, it's been proven that you can solve an issue much quicker when diversity is in place. And that is true But they forget a key component of that, right? Here's the general premise. If you have an American and someone from India coming together, they're both experts in their field, and they're asked to solve a problem. It has been proven that they together, using their minds, coming from different cultural perspectives, coming from different lifestyle perspectives, that because they'll be able to look at the issues in different ways, that they'll be able to solve that issue much more quickly together because they're able to look at it from all angles. And so what the woke left has done is they've said, oh, okay, so let's just diversify. Okay, so let's get this number of people with this color skin, this number of people with this color skin, but as a prerequisite, you'll have to have the same worldview. You'll have the same opinion and the same worldview. Well, at that point then, that's not real diversity, because then you're dealing with people who might look different, but they're coming from the same place mentally. They're coming from the same place ideologically, which means you're not getting any real diversity of thought, which means every one of those persons is going to look at the issue in the same exact way, and you're not going to solve the issue any faster, if at all. So again, I'm all for real diversity, but that requires a diversity of worldviews, which means a diversity of opinions, and that's just something that they can't get through their skulls. They can't figure that out. And it's leading to so many problems in our world. All right, let's see. HyperNex13 says, Mr. H Reviews nailed it on a video he did. Visually, the Snyder Cut CGI still doesn't look great. Also, I heard rumors that Apocalypse Mad Max-esque Batman stuff is only like 4 minutes. Yeah, and that's the thing, is I think that anyone who is, like, because there are people who have already, and this is on both sides, prejudge the movie. There are already people who are going to love the movie no matter what, because they've already invested so much time that Zack Snyder can do no wrong, and so everything that happens on screen is going to be epic, brilliant, breathtaking. And then there's others, and I would include myself in this, right, who have already made up their minds saying, I don't like Zack Snyder, I don't like his style, I think it's ostentatious, it's style over substance, and so therefore it's going to be a lot harder for me to be able to enjoy it. Now, I will say, I do the very best that I can. This goes for any movie I watch. If I have a preconceived bias, I try and leave it at the door. And obviously everyone is imperfect, right? None of us is perfect. All of us are going to not be able to do that completely. But I try and do the best that I can with it. I really do. And that's why I can go back and say, hey, I don't like Brie Larson's politics. I think that she is snobbish. I think she's full of herself. But I still give her credit for movies like Room. I think that she gives a great, solid performance in that movie, despite my opinions about her. I go back to Short Term 12, an indie film that she did. Also, I think that she's solid in that. But then I can also say that she was crap in the crappy film that was Captain Marvel, and that she was crap in the crappy film that was Unicorn Store. So I try and use those as examples to say that I typically am able to keep my biases at the door. But as I will say, it's not perfect. So I am definitely not a robot. I am not a machine. And so I can only do that so much, right? I can only do that so much. But I will do that for the Snyder Cut. I will go in with as open a mind as I possibly can. But I'm expecting it to be a train wreck, just like Wonder Woman 1984 was. I'm expected to be like that, where I'm just, from the moment it starts, I'm like, oh, no. That's what I'm expecting. I hope it isn't. I want it to be good. I want it to be great. I would love to come out of the 4 hours and be like, oh my gosh, my life was changed. My opinion on Zack Snyder has been changed. Because that can happen. It could happen. I doubt it, but it could happen. It would mean he would have to have learned from all the mistakes he's made in other films, but based on his consistency, it's not likely. And I know all the Zack Snyder fans hate me, but that's okay. It's okay. I still love you. I still love you. All right, Pat S. says, Odin, not a movie, but a channel for TV show. It's called Dairy Girls. It's about a group of Catholic girls and one guy in Northern Ireland during the Troubles of the 90s. Very funny stuff. 112 episode. Does it mean that you're on the 12th episode or that it's only 12 episodes in the season? I've gotten so many recommendations. As my wife and I have been watching stuff on Netflix, that's always been a recommended series. And I've always looked at it and said, what in the world is this, Dairy Girls? Okay. So Pat S. says it's a good show. I'm assuming that means it's not woke, which is very rare for Netflix these days. Okay. Tell me more, Pat S. I want you to sell me on this show, Pat S. Dolores Ed. Thank you for the $15 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. Says here, I feel like I could give a non-biased review when Gina's movie comes out. I have enjoyed Gina since her Strikeforce days, but I absolutely despise Ben Shapiro. Enjoy your content, Odin Hale. Hey, Dolores Ed, thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. And yeah, I respect you, right? Not everyone's going to like Ben Shapiro. If I think there's anything that most people who are fans of Ben Shapiro could ever understand, is that there are people that don't like him. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where like, yeah, you know what? I could see that. I could see why there might be people that are not fans. It could just be the way he talks, right? It could just be his demeanor, right? There's so many things other than just even his opinions that I could see, grading some people, right? I get that. But yeah, I think that I could too, because here's the other thing, right? So trying to show you kind of how I can keep my bias checked. So the Daily Wire, right? They are now going into movies. That's where Gina Carano comes in, because she is now going to do a movie with them, and she'll be a producer, a creator, and she'll be obviously also acting in the story as well. And what's interesting about it is that their first movie, Run, Hide, Fight, which they did not produce, but they simply distributed. So they got the distribution rights for that movie, which is why I'm actually excited for their next film. I'm more excited about, because I believe they'll have a lot more involvement in it. There'll be a much more creative process. And so I think it'll be a real test when that movie comes out about the future of that company as far as movies are concerned. But anyway, I went into that movie, and so some would think, okay, well, to watch that movie, you have to be a Daily Wire subscriber. I was already a Daily Wire subscriber, so obviously I like a lot of the content on there. And so I think a lot of people would think, oh, if you're watching that movie and you're already a subscriber, you're going to automatically love it because it was made and understood to be more so for conservative audiences. But here's the thing. It wasn't an amazing movie. For an objective standard, it was not an amazing film. I gave the film a C-. So that's just an example where I wanted it to be the greatest thing ever. Like, I wanted to be like, dude, this thing is awesome. You need to sign up for the Daily Wire tomorrow. I wanted it to be that, but it wasn't. And you know what I said in my review? I said, I don't think this film is worth you signing up for Daily Wire tomorrow. Obviously, if it's something that you want to do, that's obviously your prerogative. But I don't think it's something that you have to do it now. I would say, and I even said this, I said, you might want to wait until there's a few more movies on there to really feel like you're getting your money's worth for it. Because other than that movie, the only thing you have access to are their more conservative shows, right? Which, again, if you're more conservative, you might enjoy those shows. But as far as movies are concerned, it's not a whole lot there. But yeah, Dolores Ed, thank you very much for that super chat. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, totally respect your opinion on that. And again, I think that all of us could come together, right? Because again, if Gina's film sucks, I will call it out. I will call it out. And as I said, I try to look back at just times in which I would have had much more of a bias about a film and have been able to remain consistent. And that's not to try and toot my own horn. It's just I'm trying to give more context to it. That Nobody Guy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Says, Beard Bros for life. Yeah, brother. Thank you. Says, don't know why Waterworld is so hated. The premise is cool and it's a fun movie. Costner is one of those hit or miss actors. Agree about Costner. No question about it. And I understand why it's loved and hated. Because the premise is so cool, right? The world that they build, the world, the ice caps have melted and the world is covered in water, right? And so everyone has to be sailing. I get why that is a cool premise and why a lot of people would like it. But then there's the execution of the story and there's some issues there. But I had fun with it, right? I even said this in my review of that movie. I was like, this film is a lot. There's a lot going on. Obviously, it costs a lot of money to make. And the execution's not really all there. But I still had fun with it. So, yeah, I totally agree with that for sure. All right, back over to the comments. Jeremy's butt crack in the chat says, anyone feeling the love for Madonna? Madonna. Native Agnes says, I know that I cannot stop talking about it, but I've been wondering something. Why is Pulp Fiction so good? Dude, seriously, I understand. Pulp Fiction's great. But Nathan, I'm just going to say it. There's this tendency, I feel, for comments to become a little repetitive. Something to watch, needless to say. Just trying to help. Tina B says, I'll try to be here next Saturday. I'm making a pork belly dinner with sides and found a beautiful wine to go with it. I'll likely make it. Okay, Tina, yeah. So I would say if you're going to show up, don't get in the chat. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the show. I'm sure you'll get so much love and praise in that chat. From me, of course, as well. And yeah, feel like taking the night off for sure. Also, as soon as you mentioned pork belly, I'm like, Trading Places? Now that I've seen that movie, you gonna be trading in some pork bellies? You gonna start investing in some pork bellies, eh? JKD76, what is going on? Rosie G12 says, I love Watchmen, Odin. Sorry, not sorry. Of course. It's okay. It's okay. We all can have wrong opinions every now and then. James Buttcrack says, that was sad, Odin. What was sad? Which one? There's been a lot of things going on. Pat S says, Sonic the Hedgehog is on Amazon Prime, worth a watch. If it's included, yeah. I would say it's worth it. If it's like between 5, here's the thing. You want to avoid buying or renting movies through these services, is what I would say. I've never liked it in general. And also, don't ever buy a film online through Amazon Prime, because in their terms and conditions, they say, yeah, you don't actually own the movie. We still own the movie, even though you gave us your money to own it. I would say it's worth buying on Blu-ray for $5 to $10. So, again, the movie's fine. It's just, I think, again, going back into it, right, I wanted to love the film more than I did because of what the director did, because he listened to the fans. The film still was just, it was all right. It was okay. It was definitely not in my top films of that year. JKB76 says, why is Chun-Li not in Mortal Kombat? Equals, how come Indiana Jones isn't in the Three Amigos? Yep, it's about on the same level. Nathan Slay says, so tomorrow is going to be the roast of Zack Snyder. That sounds like fun, but we need to have a roast of Michael Bay at one point. I mean, I feel like the Michael Bay roast is just self-explanatory. I don't think anyone really needs to engage in that. Mike H., welcome to the channel. Jeremy's Buttcrack says, yeah, Madonna feels so oppressed. Does she? Does she really? God. Titan, what's going on? Rosie G12 says, that troll on Friday Night Tights is such a liar. He is a liar. He blatantly lied. He blatantly lied in the chat. And that's why I had to time him out at least once. Trust me, he's on thin ice. He's on very, very thin ice, but it's not my place to hide people willy-nilly. Because at the end of the day, he has a different perspective. He has a different opinion. It's obvious that he's being contrarian just because he wants to troll people. That is a very clear point. And the mods over there understand that. But yeah, until he crosses the line and starts to actually, like, if he starts to targetly harass people, right? He's like tagging people, harassing them. That's the only thing I can think of that might lead to his cancellation. Tina says, was the troll by any chance someone with the first name Darth? Yes, it is. Followed by a name of a certain person who is also Africanus in their name. Yes, that's exactly who we're talking about. Pat S., adding to the fun, says, why isn't Master Chief in the new Mortal Kombat movie? That's anti-veteran. Yes, it is. Same logic. Rosie G12, yes, indeed, that is the person. Thirsty Warrior says, Odin says, Odin says, watch the interview. It will change your view of Gina Carano. SJW says, don't try to change my truth. And that's when I say, no, I'm not going to change your truth. I'm just going to establish the truth. And hopefully you'll be willing to accept it. Cynical Lindsay, welcome to the chat. Jonathan Spencer, Mark II, welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here. Bound Hobbit says, did you see the new Emma Stone Cruella trailer? She reminded me of the female Joker. I did not. I have very little interest in that movie. Because, again, who was asking for that movie? Crickets. Crickets were asking for that movie. Super says, the fact that people are still defaming her blows my mind. I came across people today calling her an anti-Semite. Yes, idiot. Because an anti-Semite would want to work for Ben Shapiro. Exactly. And also, too, there is no evidence. That's the other thing. There's no evidence. Like, literally, the things they mention are not even true. The biggest lie that I always hate to hear is when they talk about the Instagram post that got her in the, it was like the final straw with Disney. When they talk about that, they say, oh, she was trying to compare Republicans and conservatives to X. No! Read the post. It's still visible. It's still there. You can find images of it. And at no point are the name Republican or conservative ever mentioned. So that is already a blatant lie that a fact check clearly proves wrong. And yet, what is every article? Every article written about this says what? One, oh, it was an anti-Semitic comment trying to compare Republican conservative, which again is factually inaccurate. It's insane. Also, it's kind of weird for an anti-Semite to have an hour-long sit-down interview with with an Orthodox Jew. I don't know. Seems kind of like an odd choice to me for an anti-Semite. Grant Akuma, what's going on? Pat S. says, Odin is not a role model. He's a professional beard model. Oh. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Though I think that if I had a nice roll in my hand, I could definitely be a role model. I could be that kind of a role model, that's for sure. Jerry's Buttcrack says, Gina is a good person, but things are going to get worse before they get better. It's the sign of the times. Yeah, I agree. And that's why I wish all the best to what's going with the Daily Wire. Not because they're conservative, but because they're outside of the Hollywood system. And I want us to have good alternatives. And the only scary thing with it, right, because I support that, here's the scary thing. Let's say that they start to make some really great films. They are able to start getting in not just conservatives, but also independents, maybe some disenfranchised Democrats as well, right? A huge coalition of fans. What you then end up happening is essentially you already have it in a lot of respects, right? This already exists, but you have it in an even more clear way, two different realities. So it's like, okay, we got the red movies and then we got the blue movies. We got the red studio and the blue studio. And then how far does that go? You already have gun stores who, as a criteria, are saying, I listened to this guy on Tim Pool last night, and basically what happened was the guy said, hey, if you voted for Joe Biden, you can't come in the store. You can't buy any ammo. But again, you're going to have red stores and blue stores? Like, how far does this go? How far does all of this go? So that's one of those things where it's like, I like that they're doing this and I support it because we need more options. But my fear is that it's going to cause more people to be more insulated in their views rather than trying to expand things out. Which is why I think the Gina Carano thing is a great thing, because Gina Carano is much more a centrist person who just loves people. The Hunka Chunka Funkin' Monkey says, I heard Nia Jax was removed from the Mortal Kombat movie. She showed on Raw that she was too X-rated for that. I have not watched wrestling, I'm going to be honest, in months. Not even NXT, which I used to watch a lot. Not even AEW. And again, I support what the guys are doing, but I just, especially once the lockdown started, when they announced that they weren't going to have fans, I tried watching the Royal Rumble because I like Royal Rumble. But man, the Thunderdome concept is so stupid because all of the fan noise is fake. All of the fan noise is just being pumped in. AEW at least did it right because they would have actual people there present. And so the sound, even though it was softer, was at least legitimate. The WWE stuff is cringeworthy. And I can't believe Nia Jax is still even allowed to wrestle. She has injured so many people, and she's not even that good. Like, she has no actual wrestling talent. And that's not trying to be mean, it's just stating a fact. Rhaegar Targaryen says, I would add Chris Pratt to that list of positive Disney people. I would agree. To be honest, I think one of the best things for his career long-term and the future of this new company with the Daily Wire would be if Chris Pratt got canceled and he said, nope, I'm not apologizing. And then could you imagine if Gina Carano and Chris Pratt did a movie together? That'd be pretty cool. Not going to lie, that would be pretty cool. Two people who have probably a lot of creative ideas being given full reign to actually be themselves. Again, just to me, it sounds like a what's the word for it? A recipe for success. It's not guaranteed, but it just seems like they'd be in a pretty good position. All right. Chad has jumped on me once again. Thank you all again for being here in the chat. I appreciate it. The chat has jumped on me, though. It's 7:35 in the YouTube chat. It's 7:54 in real life, so some comments may have been skipped. Again, that is not my fault. It is YouTube's fault because YouTube sucks. And Odyssey, please get that live streaming feature going. I would love to start live streaming to Odyssey. If Odyssey can eventually become a platform for streaming and can eventually just fix some of the issues that are still in the platform, it would be really fun, I think, to try and move exclusively to Odyssey. I think that's how much potential they have. They're not there yet. We're still a ways away from that. But it would be really cool because I like how they're decentralized. I like how they're based in crypto. And if they can add that live streaming feature and other things, could be good. Because I know they're also working on getting ads over there as well. Could be really good. Phonemo says, speaking of the Oscars, at least Sonic and Mank will be competing for Best Picture this year, and I'm okay with that. Well, I won't go that far. Mank, I think, for sure will get nominated. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure, based on what I know from the Oscars, Mank is going to be the only film that I'm going to be behind winning Best Picture. Mank was one of my favorite films of 2020. So, my top two films of 2020, I think, if based on the list, last time I looked at my list, is it The Gentleman by Guy Ritchie and Mank. Again, both of those films fantastic. Very different movies, but I would love to see The Gentleman get nominated, but it probably won't because, Oscars. At this point, who cares? Because it's the Oscars. Mr. Peabody, what's going on? What's going on, Mr. Peabody? Glad to have you back. Camden Heights, thank you for the 5 ice cream donations. I appreciate it. Peabody says, I posted a video on YouTube saying disinfectant sprays that claim to kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses is bull. Haven't killed it yet. It is true. What is the actual percentage then, Mr. Peabody? Let me know. Daniel Thorne says, Discord versus Element? Element? What is Element? Tell me more. Daniel Thorne then says, how is PeerTube? PeerTube? Again, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Daniel Thorne says, how would Gina do in a Firefly reboot? Well, here's the thing. I don't want a Firefly reboot. I love Firefly, and it would be cool if the same actors could come together to do like a special mini like exclusive series, like just to I guess bring some. I know that the movie technically brings some sense of closure, but for me, I would love to live in that universe just a little bit more. To be honest, I think it'd be cooler if they did their own space western. I love the concept of a space western. If they could do an original space western, though, that's exclusive to the Daily Wire with Gina Carano in it, that could be really good. That could be really good. But again, they got to get there first. Peabody says, percentage of an aerosol killing bacteria, 5%, virus 0%. What? Then how do they get away with putting it on the bottle? I feel like that's false advertisement. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in a lot of countries. Is it that they're killing certain types of bacteria? So is it like they're saying we're killing 99.9% of the 5% of bacteria and of this one or two specific viruses, even though you say 0%? And then Peabody says a virus is not alive. Well, then I guess would it stop the spread then? Like would it I guess in that way, would it just stop it? I don't know. Put some more over there because I'm going to jump over to YouTube again. James Dachier at 735 says, sorry for my wrong words. I'm not a good speller. No problem at all, James. No problem at all. It's all good. I see someone throwing shade because I talked about Minds. By the way, follow me on Minds.com. It is an awesome social media platform. It's kind of like a mixture between Twitter and Facebook in a lot of ways. I just like you can edit your comments. You can post long comments and long posts, right? You can basically post a blog as well. You can upload videos directly there, and there's no limit or cap. It's awesome. It's really cool. And also it's crypto-based, which, as you all know, I'm getting behind. Matthew Highland says, people who hate Snyder will be crying for him to come back once JJ takes over at DC. It depends. If they hate Snyder for personal reasons, yes. But if they're people like me who are critical of him because of just not being impressed with his movie style, I won't. Just going to be honest. Because also, I don't really care for DC all that much. The DC, if you're going to be honest, the DCEU is a mess. It is a giant mess. It has been terribly run. And that's not just because obviously Warner Brothers has a major part in that, right? Warner Brothers is definitely to blame for a lot of it. Zack Snyder is to blame too, because he was the mastermind for the beginning. He set the tone. He set things in motion, right? He built up storylines, and so therefore he also played a role. He also played a role in it. So again, we need to take off the rose-tinted glasses here. Snyder is not your savior. He's not your savior. He's not my savior. He's not the savior of any movie franchise. All right? He's a guy who went through a tragedy, and my heart goes out to him. He has his fans, and hey, if the fans are happy with his stuff, great. But please stop trying to make him more than what he actually is. Like let's keep things in perspective, please. James Ashier, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Says, are the Golden Globes more pointless than the Oscars? Yes, factually they are. Because the Oscars are a joke, but they haven't always been. The Golden Globes have always been a joke. Like, the Golden Globes have always been a show where they nominate people just because there's stars in them, so that way they'll come and visit and the Hollywood Foreign Press can meet them. Like, that's always been kind of the hidden joke with it all. The only time the Golden Globes were ever great were when you had certain host, specifically Ricky Gervais, who was a fantastic host. HyperNext13 says, have you seen the 2016 movie Lion with Dave Patel? Saw it a few days ago and I thought it was pretty good. Is that the one where he's trying to find like his family? If that is the case, then I have seen it. Let me look that up real quick. Because like he like goes on Google Maps, I think. Let's see, it's a biographical drama directed by Garth Davis. Where is a basic plot element? Let's see. 6-year-old boy lives with eldest brother. Arrive at the station, falls asleep, cart wakes up, train in motion. Okay, yeah, he loses okay, yeah, so that is the movie. Yeah, so it's a very powerful story, yeah, because essentially what happens is that he tries to find his home and he's somehow able to. It's very powerful. Thirsty Warrior says, I was listening to an HR kind of webinar where one speaker basically came out and said that diversity of opinion is only possible with race diversity. Basically, then the opinion ruse is racist. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing. You can have a diversity of opinion with people. Here's the funny thing. Do all white people think the same? Do all black people think the same? Do all people from India think the same? Do all people from China think the same? No. So there alone, you have diversity of opinion in specific cultures. And so the fact that anyone would even say that is by definition racist. Because as you said, it basically is saying, oh, the only way you have diversity of opinion is if you have diversity of races. That then what you're saying is that all the people then from these specific races you're talking about think the same. No, that's not how it works. And again, this is how they cover, right? This is how they cover it all, right? They cover it because they know they don't care about the race of the person. All they care about, hey, you're from this country. What's your politics? Oh, it's different. You're not who we're looking for. You've got white privilege. It's like, shut up. Ah, man, all of this critical theory, like whether it's critical race, critical gender theory, all this nonsense garbage is awful. One of the worst things I ever had to do. This is when I was at my old school in New Orleans, which is one of the reasons why I have a lot of issues with that old school. They made us sit through a terrible seminar. They made us sit through a terrible seminar where I had to be preached to via live stream, by the way. It wasn't even live, right? We had to watch a live stream. We were mandated by the diocese to watch it. And I had to be preached to about microaggressions. And I'm sorry, I got to a point where I'm like, I can't sit through this. This is bull. I mean, this is not benefiting me at all. This guy is just talking out of his ass through a live stream. So I left. They didn't like that. Very happy where I am. Very, very, very happy where I am. Nathan Slay says, Speed is a great movie. It's really exciting and gripping, and it is a heart pounder for me. It's pretty fantastic. It is. Absolutely. Let's see. Hardwick says, I watched Monster Hunter. For what it is, I don't think it's too bad. Just go in expecting a dumb B movie. I found Mila Jovovich and Tony Jaa very good in it. It's at least better than Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, I mean, I've been open to seeing the movie. I just, of course, I'm going to wait for it to be available on one of the streaming services, most likely. Pat S. then says, Odin in I, not robot. Exactly. JKD Buck says, why does YouTube censor me every time I make fun of Lucasfilm? Instead of film, I type filth and it gets censored. What's their deal? Again, I don't know the context of this. If you're talking about leaving a comment, I know that. So here's the thing, JKD Buck. It's not because you're saying Lucas filth. It's because you're saying the word filth. And so basically what it is, and again, I will not come to YouTube's defense often. But essentially what it is that there are certain words that trigger their bots to put those comments into potential spam. So I still get those comments. It's just that I have thousands of those to go through. And so therefore I'm not able to approve them all. But basically anytime it sees stuff like that, it's just trying to, because robots, as we all know, AI don't understand context. So all it sees is the word filth. And so therefore it assumes that it's saying, oh, this filth is disgusting, or you are filth, right? And many other words like it. So yeah, it's not because you're saying Lucas filth, right? It's not some Disney conspiracy. It's because you're saying the word filth. And so therefore it automatically goes to me to verify whether or not it's legitimate or not. And whether or not it's a troll comment or anything like that. So again, it's just protections built into the system. So again, I don't come to their support often, but that is the reason why. So again, they're not censoring you because of Lucasfilm or Disney or anything like that. It's because you're saying the word filth. Session Neon says, did you enjoy Fatima or was it inaccurate weird? I actually haven't been able to watch it yet. It was on, again, because I have it. It was sent to me and it was on my radar to watch. I was starting to watch it and then it just fell behind because it was during the Christmas season, had family over. Obviously, not only just having family over, but of course with baby Thor and all that stuff. Yeah. But it's still on my list. 70B says, Brie Larson is the epitome of a privileged woman, period. No. I agree, right? I'm not saying that I like her as a person, but I am saying that she did give good performances. And I've said this before, too. I give credit to the directors. Because if you're a good director, you can get an amazing performance out of someone who is a subpar, mediocre actor. And I think that is what happened in those instances. I think she had really good directors. Andrew Hoyle, as a member, says, Dairy Girls is very funny. 2 series and a third was commissioned, but delayed because of the coof. Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm going to write that down then, because I do keep getting that promo for it. Dairy Girls. Interesting. It's not anti-Catholic. I mean, if Pat S. is recommending it, I'm assuming it's not, but anytime I hear about it's a Netflix show featuring a Catholic school, I don't know. I don't know about that. But 2 people have now said it. Andrew Hoyle says, Gina should be in a Red Sonja movie. Yeah, I actually don't know much about Red Sonja in general, or Red Sonja. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation or not, but sounds badass. Mark6366, welcome. Tippy Tail McKitty, what's going on? Mark Oquist tagged and says, we need a 2+ hour version of Kung Fury. Yes, we do. We need the director's cut of Kung Fury. Harwick says, until I heard her sing in Monster Hunter, I didn't know Mila Jovovich was a musician. She had a 1994 album, but never hit big because they wanted her to be a pop star and she didn't want to be one. Interesting. I had no idea. FP Sunny, welcome. And this is a factual statement. This is going back to when I was talking about Waterworld. He says, Mad Max on water. Yeah, right. It pretty much is Mad Max on water. Oh, man. Y'all are great. Pat S., thank you for confirming this, by the way. He says, it's not a Netflix show. That's probably why it's good. It's a Channel 4 original. The writer is a woman who grew up Catholic in Londonderry, and she is still Catholic. So even though there are still a few off-color things, if you're, and then it says 1 of 2, but he didn't get it out till later. He says, a child of the 90s or a Catholic, you would enjoy it. The nuns reminded me of the Maronites that educated me too. Interesting. Okay. Again, I might have to check that out then. JakeDebuck76 says, it's not Watchmen, it's Watch Persons, bigot. Yeah, seriously. Nathan Slate Titan says, do you find those cinephiles who go after people for not liking movies that are up to your interpretation and start calling them people with no imagination? I find that frustrating. Sounds like it's frustrating. I don't know who that would be. Jake Buck says, I've never watched Tin Cup, but the girl I was dating in college, her dad liked Tin Cup and wouldn't shut up about it. I've never seen Tin Cup. It's a random thought. Orange Eye Review says, after you reported on the news of Amazon potentially taking movies back, I've been doing all my digital purchases on Vudu. And again, I think that's a better place, but just remember, when you buy a digital movie, when you buy a digital asset, you don't actually own it. And what I mean by that is that you don't actually have the physical stuff. You can't download it separately, right? You can maybe download it in the app, but it's encrypted and you can't actually have the file yourself. That's why I always will say, if you really want a movie, buy the physical media. Most physical media nowadays is actually, in many cases, better priced often than the digital media. And when you have it, guess what? You own it. You own it forever. You can digitize it. And so therefore you can still have that digital copy, but you own that digital copy. So I will always push that. All right. Nathan Slay. I've never seen Elephant Man. I just don't like David Lynch. Yeah, I'm not a fan of David Lynch. Solely Unfrozen Assassin says, I already know the ending of the Cruella movie. A door opens and John Wick enters the room. Fade to black. Oh, man. Hardwick says, have you ever noticed that Rutger Hauer looked like Anthony Hopkins? He kind of does. I can see it. I think they have enough unique physical traits that are so different. Maybe if I looked at a younger Anthony Hopkins. Speaking of which, there's a movie I still need to watch that someone sent me. That's an Anthony Hopkins film. Don't worry, again, on my radar. But I'm actually in the process of, I found out that, because Supernatural, of course, just ended the entire series. And I was like halfway through it, and then I had to wait for the episodes to be re-uploaded, or I had to wait for the newer episodes to be uploaded because I wasn't watching it live. So that's my main goal during my free time, is to finish Supernatural, and then then I'll start watching some more movies again. I had a good stretch though. I watched several movies, got some reviews out of the way. Rose E224 says, the people attacking Gina Carano wouldn't know the truth if it hit them in the culo. Super says, Cruella trailer was meh. Big Birds of Prey vibes. Good thing Emma Stone is a great actress. Yeah, again, she's very talented, but even talented actresses can't save terrible writing. Jakey Buck says, the greatest movie in the world is The Empire Strikes Back, followed by Raiders. Both are excellent films. That is true. Alex McCarthy says, wrestling you stay. I still watch it all. Well, you do like bad things. So, again, I'm a wrestling fan. But the modern day product, at least with the WWE, not so much. Even their NXT stuff started to go downhill, sadly. All right, Chad has jumped on me once again. Smash that like button if you're still watching over on YouTube. Appreciate it. All right, let's jump back now over to the D-Laugh fam. I'll wait for some tags. Any tags? Peabody says, I will send you a link to my video that will explain it. Cool. You don't have to do that, man. I can find it on YouTube. I follow your channel. Phonema says, I saw Willis Wonderland, and it is everything you could want in a B-genre movie. It's not. Is it Willy's Wonderland? Is that the new Nick Cage movie? Isn't it like Nick Cage, but it's also set to that, what was that horror game that came out where it had the animatronics that came to life? Isn't it just like a live-action horror with Nicolas Cage version of that? Adam, Blues Brothers is one of the greatest. That is true. There's nothing better than hearing the song Minnie the Moocha. Oh, so good, so good. Skibbly-boo, skibbly-doo, skibbly-doo. That whole sequence is so great. Poor man, poor man. It is, yeah, Phonema. I knew it's. I just don't know what the name of the game was. All right, back over to YouTube. That Nobody Guy, who's a member, welcome, says the ammo store situation is justified in my opinion. The Biden administration's policies are extremely anti-2A. Again, that's a fact, and they're a private business. Your Muslim uncle says, hail and peace unto you. Peace to you, brother. Thanks for being back, your Muslim uncle. Appreciate it. Nathan Slay says, I hear Mark is pretty divisive. There's some people who really didn't like the movie. Context? Nathan Slay says, I mean, Mank in the Lost... Okay, Mank. I don't see why Mank would be divisive. I could see some people thinking it's boring, but it's a good movie. It's an incredibly well-made film. Dean J says, oh, Odin, que pasa? No spoilers, but are you up to date with WandaVision? Is it good? No, I'm not. Ever since they fired Gina Carano, I have not been watching. So I'm 2 episodes behind, and to be honest, I don't think I'm going to watch them. I might find other means to watch it, but no official plans at this point. Pat S says, you can't bring Book back. He passed. Yeah, that's right. I forgot the actor. I forgot the actor that played Shepherd Book had passed away more recently. Yeah, that's right. But they could still, I think, bring most of the cast back, at least. Seahawk Scott says, Gina in A. What? Glad you're back, though. Super says, Gina needs to play Big Barda in a DC movie for Warner Brothers. She'd kill it. Again, I don't know much about that character. Let's see. Dolores Ed says, I'm a new subscriber, so my apologies if you have your opinion on this before. The first season of True Detective is one of my favorite shows. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? I've actually not. I've heard great things about that series, but I tried watching the first episode, and it was so slow. It was so slow. And I'm all for slow burns, but it was so... I couldn't justify watching anymore. But I'm glad you liked it. Soul the Unfrozen Assassin. I heard Disney wanted Snyder to do a Star Wars film, and he said, nah, bruh. Well, here's 2 things. 1, good move by Zack Snyder. 2, bad move by Star Wars. I would not want a Star Wars film directed by Zack Snyder. I'm just going to be honest. So I think both dodged a bullet. Hardwick says, Big Barda will be in the New Gods movie that's written and directed by Ava DuVernay. That's right. I think that makes it pretty clear what chance Gina Carano has for playing it. Yeah. If anyone's going to hire her, the last person that would ever hire her would be Ava DuVernay. God, that woman. Golden Ration. Thoughts on Streamlabs banning people? Sargon of Akkad just had his stream about his account being removed. It's the first I've heard about it. That's sad because Streamlabs is typically a very apolitical platform because it's just a hosting for, just for allowing streamers to stream, essentially. It's sad that there are so many people because that means that they've just cut off one of his revenue streams because Streamlabs allows people to hook up at their PayPal account and to receive credit card donations that are outside of YouTube, right? So, for instance, when you have a YouTube channel that's been demonetized, you can still make money from the stream because if you have a Streamlabs account, you can still get donations by that Streamlabs link. That's sad. That makes me very, very sad, though, because I thought that they were past that. But, yeah, it's the first time I've heard about it. MTAX Shark, who's a member, says, excellent take on it. OMB Reviews, hail all. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Your Muslim uncle says, Midnight's Edge is right. Mortal Kombat trailer had better CGI. It did. It absolutely did. And it's not just the better CGI, it's the use of the CGI, right? Because people will always get that mistaken, right? When we say bad CGI, it doesn't necessarily mean that the still image is bad, right? Because people will say, but it looks just like the comics. It looks just like it came out of a comic page. Okay, that might work for a comic book, but a movie is a different medium, right? So you can still pay respect to the source material, but you also have to have it work within the new medium of film. And that's something I think Snyder has never really been able to get right. Because, again, he focuses so much on visuals, he forgets the story. Nathan Slade says, wait, people treat Snyder, think Snyder is a savior? Jesus Christ is our savior. Zack Snyder is truly far from one. Well, again, it's metaphorically, Nathan Slade. Pat S. says, Saturn Awards are the best and last woke award. Oh, the Saturn Award. Yeah, because didn't Rian Johnson win a Saturn Award for Best Director? Didn't he win one for The Last Jedi? Gosh. Oh, what a joke. Slash of Neon says, I was once an extra for a biscuit commercial, so you could say I played a leading role. I like what you did there. Jake D. Buck says, Odin, which is better, judo or judon't? Are you trying to make fun of my polls? By the way, I've been having so much fun with those polls in the community tab. There's been some good ones, and I love how I'm triggering some people. Like today, I had it where you had to pick one, And if you did, the other one would disappear from existence, disappear from history. And the choice was either the entire Star Wars universe or the entire Star Trek universe. And there were people whose minds were breaking. They're like, Will Gentry had the best comic. He says, I'm not playing your sick game. It has been great. It's been so much fun. Now, I will say this much. You know how there was that whole thing about, oh, yeah, if you do polls and get that engagement, your channel will grow? I can confirm now, having done this now for a few weeks, that's bunk. I'm still having fun with it, though, so I'll keep on doing the polls because they're a lot of fun. It's fun just to wake up and do it, especially since I can't do a video every single day. And so it's just fun to, to engage with y'all guys and to, hear back from y'all. All right. No one has tagged me over on DLive, so I'll stay over on YouTube. Let's see. Golden Ration says, Daryl Davis was called white supremacist by the far left, which is so stupid. Who is Daryl Davis? Let me DuckDuckGo him real quick. Wait a minute. Wait, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Matt, no. No, Matt, no. Gosh. Daryl Davis. So a person of color, born in Chicago. He was a musician and author. Gosh. Oh, that's the world we live in, folks. You can be a person of color and still be a white supremacist. Gosh. Zach Richmond, who tags us, I heard you used to live in my hometown of Metairie. What's the best place, in your opinion, to get pizza from? My wife and I love Pascali's. Never actually been there or heard of it. Tower of Pizza was always pretty good. My friends and I would typically go to Tower of Pizza. Yeah, I mean, I was a person, I lived there my entire life, but I was never like a social butterfly. So I would always go to very like standard mainstream, national chain types. I would go to the local ones too every now and then. But the only one I can think of for pizza specifically that was pretty good was definitely Tower of Pizza. And then a friend of mine who I think recently disowned me based on... He was the one I mentioned where I was talking about how Gina Carano was totally right in the whole cancel culture thing. Because literally, I sent a message out to like my old high school friends, and it was a video that we used to watch all the time because it was just so funny. It was the 50 worst voice acting in video games. It was hilarious. So I sent it out and was like, "Hey guys, I miss y'all." And then he sends me a private message, and he says, "I don't know why you would send me this. You've been saying a lot of things on social media lately that I just don't know if I can." It was one of these. It was worded almost as if it was like, "I don't know if I can be your friend anymore." Like it was just like, what? So, but anyway, he and his family own a great pizza place, but I'm honestly forgetting the name at the moment. But yeah, I would say Tower Pizza, which I think is right on Veterans Boulevard. Rhaegar Targaryen says, calling it now, Borat subsequent movie film will win Best Picture Musical Comedy in this year's Golden Globes. Probably. Would not surprise me. And it'll all be because they want to crap all over Rudy Giuliani. Super says, chat skip me. Another thing that bugs me about Gina is Bill Burr. Like, Burr has been dunking on feminist types his entire career, but they still hire him, and he's just fine right now. The thing that bothers me about Bill Burr is that he is the person that should be out right now saying Gina's awesome. Like, he should be the one stepping out right now to come to her defense. And the fact that he hasn't really frustrates me. James Dache, thank you for another super chat. He says, thoughts on the movie Crash? Vastly overrated. Probably the most overrated Oscar-winning film of all time. Probably the most overrated Oscar-winning film of all time, Crash. It's just garbage, man. It really is. It's a film you watch once and you're like, how did this film even get nominated for Best Picture? Hardwick says, other than Ricky Gervais, the only good thing about the Golden Globes is when Salma Hayek shows up. She always brings the Golden Globes, especially in that. Oh, Lord. Okay, Hardwick. You do you, boo. JKD Buck says, fair enough, Odin, Lucasfilm is filth. Yes, filth. Slicer says, I was once on a PSA about the dangers of Gorilla Glue. I found it a gripping experience that stuck with me. Sadly, it was not watched much. Well, if you had put it in your hair. Andrew Hoyle says, filthy Lucas. Yes. Filthy Lucas. Super says, like, I don't think Burr should be fired. It just proves that a bunch of Twitter blue hairs set their sights on Gina, and Disney said, okay, you can have her. It's BS. You know, it is. Right? And this is the crazy thing about cancel culture is that a couple hundred people and probably thousands of bot accounts are determining rules for their platform and are also determining decisions made by Hollywood and politicians. It's crazy. Rosie G12 says, Bree's a plank of wood. In most things she does. Not in all. JKD-Buck76, I wonder if they'll ever make a gritty reboot of Harry and the Hendersons and call it Harry and the Hendersons? I see what you did there. Dean J says, Brie Larson doesn't want to hear your opinion. You're a toxic 45-year-old man. For the record, I'm 32. For the record, Nathan Slay, have you ever been afraid to say that you didn't like a really popular film because you feel like people you will hate you for it? No, not at all. I've gotten a lot of hate for a lot of my opinions on films. I had no problem going after DC films. Right, I've been very critical, as you all have seen on this show alone. I've been very critical. That is something that can get you not canceled necessarily, but I've gotten a lot of heat for my thoughts on Zack Snyder. Because there's a lot of Snyder fans that are huge fans of people like RK Outpost who also follow me, and they don't want to hear that, obviously. But but no, I've never been afraid to give an opinion on a film. Attack Shark says, Mad Max on water, but worse script, acting, direction. Yes. All those things true. Attack Shark says a fact, which is physical media. That is a fact. Slicer says, once I was an extra in a Sesame Street song about the differences between circles, triangles, and squares. It shaped the person I am today. God, Slicer. Oh, the dad jokes. Your Muslim uncle says, in Swedish, it's pronounced Sonya. I thought it was Sonya. But I wasn't 100% sure. Thank you, your Muslim uncle. JD Buck says, you don't own the movie on digital. You own a license to watch it. A lawyer explained that on TV once. That's actually a very, very good point. Very good point. That 70s Rock fan, hey, what's going on? How's it going? By the way, I just realized we're at time. We're right at time, people. So with that, I got to go to members only. I apologize, everybody. JKD Buck says, fade in. Hi, everyone. I'm Derpine Kennedy. I fired the best thing going for us. Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much. All right, chat jumped on me again. Let me jump over to D-Live real quick. Okay, D-Live, y'all just stay pretty because I do need to wrap things up. All right, let's try and go through all of the members' comments left. Smash that like button before the stream ends. 76 people still watching. All right, where are my members at? Hardwick says, Red Sonja is sort of like a female version of Conan. She has red hair, wears a chain mail bikini, and wields a sword. There's a 90s movie starring Bridget Nielsen and Arnold, but it's bad. Okay, gotcha. Your Muslim uncle says, can't wait for you to finish Supernatural, talk about it. Yeah, there's one episode that I just watched where basically a wood nymph is a part of the bunker. It was really funny. It was a really funny episode. I always love that when those random funny episodes happen. Tax Shark says, Dick the Bruiser. Steady B says, Dean dies at the end of... What? 70B, I hope that's not a spoiler. I hope that you just made that up, Stephanie B. I hope that wasn't just a spoiler. Because I just read the rest when I saw that what you were saying. I hope that's not true. Andrew Hoyle says, she caught the Katie and left a mule to ride. What? Dean J, thank you for the $5 super chat. It does say the message was retracted, though. Sorry to hear that. I don't know what happened. Hardwick says, in Monster Hunter, Mila Jovovich's character had the personality Carol Danvers should have. Jovovich based her character on a real-life friend of hers who is one of the few female Army Rangers. Very cool. All right, members only. Andrew Hoyle says, shiver me timbers. I tripped to Tortuga for WandaVision, methinks Odin. Yes, facts. Alex McCarthy says, I like the first season of True Detective. Season 2 was met. Haven't seen season 3. Cool. Tax Shark says, the 1984 Dune film's kind of grown on me. Very possibly just good memories, but I do like it. I don't. I tried watching it, and I just was not a fan. Hardwick says, my biggest issue with WandaVision is they're not portraying Monica Rambeau well. They keep talking about how great she is, but never really show why. She's sort of a Mary Sue right now. Yeah, I can see that. Since DJ left Super Chat, I'll read his comment that he tagged me. He says, dude, I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat fan, but that trailer was lit. It really was. It was fantastic. Thursday Warrior says, Sargon can really try to push the boundaries at times. They probably misconstrued something he said, or he used a word that they would have not have uttered in any context. Stupid idea. Context is everything. I agree. And honestly, they've been trying to cancel him on every platform for a long time now. Pat S says, I can never find the polls. Community tab. Go to the channel. Go to the OMB Reviews channel. And then there's like all those tabs, right, for videos, etc. There's one label community. All the polls are on the community tab. Hardwick says, have you watched Razor Fist Michael Jackson videos? If so, are you convinced his view that Jackson was innocent? I've only seen a couple. He makes a very, very strong case. Father says, fade in. What I miss? The entire stream, Father. Hope mass went well, though. Pat S says, Pasquale's is Chuck E. Cheese. Look it up. Is it really? Like, factual? I actually do. I have fond memories of Chuck E. Cheese. Their pizza was pretty good. That Nobody Guy's member says, Daryl Davis has worked in de-radicalizing Klan members and supremacists. Oh, that's awesome. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. MTAC Shark as a member says, Crash, yet another correct take. Thank you very much, MTAC Shark. I appreciate the confidence. Pat says, nope, just looked it up. Johnson was nominated for directing Last Jedi. Ryan Coogler won. Maybe he won for, didn't he win potentially then for Knives Out? Pretty sure he won one recently. JD by 76, Bree and Daisy Ridley need to start in a movie called Planks. Gosh. What's going on, Will Gentry? Love you, sir. But I do need to wrap things up. Father says, Nymph Teehee. I did say nymph. Jacob Buck says, would you be willing to begin a video saying fade in? Kathleen Kennedy needs to be mocked. I mean, I feel like the Friday Night Tights intro already does enough. Stephanie says, going to dress up for Tina's birthday next Saturday. Don't you have a tuck shirt? I do have a tuck shirt. It might be a size too small, though. Rosie G12, great question. Tomorrow, there is a stream. The Chosen of Valhalla stream is indeed tomorrow. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The event is already there. So, hey, on the channel right now, there is an event set already for tomorrow. So go click the Remind button over there. And if you are one of my Chosen, make sure that you're over in the Discord, because that's where I'll be sending the links. JD Buck says, Odin, would you be willing to begin a video? Okay, I got that one. I got it. M Tax Shark, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, great stream. Thanks, man. Thank you. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. 70B says, I made it all up pretty good. Note, thank the Lord, 70B. Yes, it sounded like it was real, and I was afraid. Pat S says, she caught the Katie and left me and you to ride the song lyric. The new number 2 says, love the Supernatural episode where they leaped into the actors playing them in a TV show. Yes. All those like meta episodes were fantastic. J.K. Buck says, Chun-Li is not in Mortal Kombat is like Mario is not in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie on Amazon. Yes, that's a fact. That is a fact. Pat S says, I wasn't upset that Dean died. It's his death that meant... Well, no. Pat S. You're a member, you know, if you're going to talk to someone else, you gotta tag them at the beginning of the comment. Pat S, if that is a spoiler, I'm coming for you. Pat S, if that was a spoiler, I am coming for you. Hardwick, Paul W.S. Anderson, director of Resident Evil and movies of Monster Hunter, is one of the few lucky men enough to make a living making movies about how great his wife is. JKD Buck, which is better, pancakes or cake pans? Pancakes. Father says, Tuck's shirt a size too short. Maybe you keep your camera above the belly. No, Father, no. Sadie, thank you for joking. Andrew Hoyle says, she caught the Katie is a song at the beginning of Blues Brothers. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right. My brain's trying to end because I'm too far behind. Jaden Thorne, can we get a French toast versus pancakes poll? Maybe. I don't think it's going to go the way you think. I think there's a small but passionate lovers of French toast. I don't think it would win against pancakes. Jacob Buck, who had a higher bounty count, Jim Jones or Indiana Jones? I don't get that joke, actually, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, that is going to be it for me tonight because I do need to go. I am over time. So I want to shout out some members real quick. The YouTube members, MTAC Shark, Forever Sci-Fi, FCC 2014, Rosie G12, Andrew Hoyle, Eric K, Orange Chat Reviews, Adam Avery, the Bosco 2000, Twirly Wolf, Jay Stowe, and Aiden Vickery. Thank you all very much for being my members on the YouTube channel who are at the Army of Asgard level and above. And also, I need to update my February Patreon video at the end of the stream. So right now, I'll just go ahead and shout out the newest Patreon member, Priscilla Hall. Thank you very much for joining today for a year at the Army of Asgard level. I very much appreciate that. Anyway, you guys, seriously, amazing, beautiful. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, check out the Chosen of Valhalla live stream. It will be a lot of fun. We'll be dunking on Zack Snyder, and I'm sure we'll be talking about a lot of a plethora of other topics as well. I'm sure Gina Carano will come up as well, and it'll be a darn good time. Anyway, much love to the mods, Stephanie B, Tina B. Thank y'all very much for being here, being awesome. Also, of course, shout out to Laura, waiting for Nerdrotic, for being here earlier as well. You guys are freaking awesome, amazing, and beautiful people. Pat S, I have your number, man. That was a spoiler, man. You're done. Anyway, kidding. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members: Albertus Magnus, Ali C83, Andrew Hoyle, Animation Commentator, Brian P, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, The Honky Chonky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeff Toon, Jonathan Carney, Laura Story, the Modern Major General, Mag Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Unnen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Benden, Tina Bojan, and Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Thank you so very much for being my Patreon members. And a huge shout out also to my Subscribe Star members: Stan 4, John B, Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadan G. Adams, and the K-Man. Thank you all very much for being my Subscribe Star members, and to all people who support the channel. It really does mean a lot. If you want to support the channel and have your name shouted out, please make sure that you join on Patreon or Subscribe Star today. If you sign up at the $5 or up level, you'll also get access to exclusive giveaways, including for 4K and Blu-ray titles. At the $10 level, you get all that, plus you get access to an exclusive podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger. There's actually currently an episode that I made public on the channel right now, so you can go ahead and check that out. If you want to have more access to even more episodes and more content and the ability to ask us questions, please feel free to check that out as well. And if you join at the $25 level and up, the Chosen of Valhalla level, you get to have all of those things, plus you get a free t-shirt that first month that you sign up for it, and every month you will be able to access the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where me and my Chosen just talk for about 2, 3, sometimes even 4 hours about whatever it is that they want to talk about. So check all of that out in the links in the description below. You are all amazing and beautiful people. We all have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.